Well, the camera's a little tilted. That's okay. Meditation is action. The way out is in. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good people. Good morning to my friends all around the world. Welcome to my sacred grove. Welcome to my channel. Make it an amazing day. How's your heart today? How is your heart today? Is your heart kind? How is your mind today? Is your mind calm and clear? Let's talk about freedom from suffering. Freedom from suffering. The first thing you should know is that there is freedom from suffering. What are you suffering from today? Leave it in the comments below, if you please. What are you suffering from today? What is your struggle? What is your burden? To be free from suffering, in a sense, means I have no opinion on a lot of issues. In many of the events of the day, and I don't know all of them because I'm not a news watcher. Once a day I might spend about 10 or 15 minutes on my Roku box on YouTube just reading headlines, and that's all I need to know. My point is, I'm not taking sides. Not just what is on the news. I'm not taking sides in a lot of areas. When I was thinking about making this video this morning, I realized this is where we're at today. It seems like there's this authoritarian unspoken word that on all these issues of the day, whether it's what's going on in the world around us or within our home, our tribes, our clans, our village, on a lot of topics, we have to pick sides. Well, they want you to pick a side. Picking a side on an issue is what starts a divide. Picking a side on an issue is what starts the divide. Why can't my comment be no comment? And I just heard this voice in the back of my head saying, no, you have to have some kind of opinion on this, don't you? No, I don't have to have an opinion on anything, really. I noticed that since I stopped watching a lot of news, I've noticed that since I've backed off interacting with certain people, I've noticed that as a result of meditation every morning, I've noticed that when I walk mindfully and pay attention to my breath, I've noticed that a lot of suffering ends. A lot of suffering is self-inflicted. A lot of suffering comes from having to choose sides on issues. I had this epiphany today. I had this spiritual awakening this morning. I had a psychic change about where I'm going on this spiritual path. How I'm proceeding, kind of measuring how far I've come. And I don't want to pick sides anymore on any issue with anyone. I don't want to enter into debates and arguments over topics of the day. That is, those topics blaring out of TV sets from news organizations. I woke up this morning, went to the bathroom, grabbed a coffee. I actually sat on my deck for about a half hour. I was watching the clouds glide and move. They were moving pretty fast, the ones low to the earth. They were more like a mist of a cloud, and the big white bulky clouds, I call them summer clouds, they were in the background moving slow. Crickets are chirping, birds chirping, the roosters down the road crowing. I became calm. I became calm. Real quick. Real quick. I don't want to belong to an organization of any kind that is the us against them. I don't want to belong to a unit, an organization, a group that focuses on where we go when we die, because I don't care what any book says, and there are a lot of opinions on and theories on and concepts on where we go when we die. I don't want to be that person that says, well, you don't have to listen to me, but I know where I'm going when I die. Why? Because it's in a book. Somewhere, heaven, hell, you're going to be reincarnated. I'm not in a hurry to get there either. I want to stay into today. I want to stay into right now. I want to focus on my well-being and ending my suffering and telling other people how to find peace. And if you engage in a conversation with me and you don't agree with what I have to say, that's all right on my end. I got another one of those comments yesterday, like 5 paragraphs long, calling me the devil, saying I'm going to hell. Don't you have anything else better to do than to stir up trouble? I want to walk away from trouble. I want to connect with this. Not a TV, not a telephone. Saying I'm right and you're wrong does not make me feel good if I was that type of person, because I'm not promoting peace in that aspect. I'm promoting hate, division, self-righteousness. What are you suffering from? What am I suffering from? I don't suffer anymore. Not like that. I'm aware. I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of my behavior today. It's not like I walk through the day and say, I gotta be good, I gotta be good, I can't be bad, I can't be bad. Nothing like that. I mentioned this in a video a couple of months ago. I have melted into the landscape. Or you could say, my spirit, my soul, connected with the ultimate reality, and that is that we are all one. We are all connected. We are interconnected. Have you ever been thinking about somebody and said to yourself, wow, I didn't hear from them for a long time. I'm wondering how they're doing, and then your phone rang and it was them. Or maybe one day you were going somewhere that you usually go to, and for some reason you said, you know what, I'm going to take this road instead, and then you found out the way you usually go there was a bad accident. This brings me to this part of the video where I ask you about your beliefs, okay? I don't know what your beliefs are, spiritually speaking or religious-wise. I don't know what they are. But this is the part of the video where I ask you about your beliefs and then say, Are your beliefs a feeling, or have you become them? This is where I ask you about your beliefs, spiritually speaking, religiously speaking, okay? Are your beliefs a feeling, or have you become those beliefs, spiritually speaking? Makes me think of boxing. I used to amateur box and bare knuckle box. And you may have even heard this in our times. Something like cocky fighter gets knocked out, right? The cocky fighter gets knocked out. He was feeling he was a good fighter. He was talking shit, crap, that he was a good fighter. He acted like he was a good fighter, but they were just feelings because he got his ass knocked out, because he didn't become it. He didn't become it. He was not immersed in it with blood, sweat, and tears. Immersed in it. I'm sure you had this experience. Somebody said, hey, watch this. So there's a group of yas around, and a little tomfoolery going on, smoking and joking, as we used to say. And then somebody says, watch this. And they make a jerk out of themselves, or they get injured, or watch this leads to their death. They feel. Invincible, but they didn't become it, because a strong person would not do anything that could lead to their death on a whim, as a joke. Hold my beer, watch this. And when I'm talking about your beliefs, do you feel them, or have you become them? So there's hundreds of religions, hundreds of spiritual paths, spiritual ways, beliefs, philosophies. Most of them don't care about what other people are doing. Their sole mission is peace, right? But my point is, a lot of them have teachings from some type of master, and it's written down in a book. Or, as Native Americans, they pass it on through word of mouth, stories, storytellers. So what's in your book? What's in your book? Do you just feel those teachings, or do you become them? Feeling those teachings is like saying, I belong to this group now. This is what we do. Do you know about these teachings? As opposed to not saying anything, minding your own business in another way, and becoming those teachings. You don't have to exert yourself to convince people this is what I do. So, what do your beliefs teach you to do? How to interact with other people? What do your beliefs say about interacting with other people? To hate them? To create divisiveness? To ignore them, shun them? See, I could quote you quotes from Hinduism, Buddhism, Sufism, from Confucius, the Tao, the Stoics. I could quote quotes, but that doesn't mean anything. What means something is how I interact with the world around me. That's what means something. How I interact with the world around me. You know someone that's angry all the time? Do you know someone that's generally angry all the time? A very angry person. They're suffering from something, and they're causing other people to suffer as well. What I've become is I've recovered from making excuses for my behavior. What I've become is I've recovered from being self-righteous. What I've become is I've recovered from acting out revenge against people that hurt, frustrated, disappointed, or annoyed me. I've recovered from these things. I no longer suffer and that suffering caused me to be a certain way. Those things I mentioned: divisive, angry, fighting, sad when I didn't get my own way, all those things. I don't suffer that anymore. I've recovered from it. It's not pills, it's not an elixir. Really, it wasn't something from a book, although I've read a lot of books. What ended my suffering was when I looked within. What ended my suffering was when I took responsibility for my actions that were causing harm, not good. I took responsibility for my actions that were causing harm. That ended suffering. I heard a saying that everyone is carrying a heavy burden, and I started to look at people that way. That ended my suffering. I heard another saying that said, if you do not see God in the next person you meet, you need look no further. That ended my suffering. I used to be afraid of dying. Hey! I used to be afraid of dying. I used to have anxiety attacks over it. But that suffering has ended because I found a new way to look at life. I was focused on death and not focused on life. I felt bad that one day I was going to leave all of this, and it caused a lot of anxiety. That's pretty self-centered, as I found out. Self-centered thinking. I no longer suffer from that either. I don't even know if you were to ask me to describe myself today. I don't even know how to do that anymore. I'm not that thing, that entity, that being I used to think I was. I'm action today. I'm action and inaction. Action and inaction. Meditation is inaction. Meditation is action. And from that action, I become inactive in a certain way. You understand? I become inactive in a certain way. Maybe meditation turns off those animalistic behaviors or bad behaviors I developed over decades, right? I'm air. I'm the sky. I'm the sun. I'm the ground. I'm this tree. I'm the rain. I'm the water.